Man, I like how you have your setup. It's
Yeah,
nice.
it's better.
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
Okay.
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 To State of Decay.
What? What did you say?
State of Decay.
State of Decay.
State of Decay.
What is that?
It's a game.
A
Chase.
game? Is it a top tier game?
Now it is.
Okay.
All right.
I'm intrigued.
All right.
I'm gonna.
You know this game.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do.
Yeah. It's a zombie game.
Okay. I guess you could say you state the decay.
No.
That's why it's
No, I
called.
wouldn't say that.
You decay the state.
The state does decay.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, it's actively decaying.
The current state of
Yeah.
your state is decaying.
Okay, that's cool. I like this concept already.
Yeah. So, it's pretty much a survival game. Feel free to help me out here, Chase.
Okay.
I feel like you've given me nothing.
What?
We just started.
I was invited on here. Okay, I have no affiliation with this.
No, it's one of my top favorite games for sure. It definitely belongs on this list. I mean, so you come in and it gives a little bit of story, but not a lot, which I like.
Yeah.
And you start as a character, but you learn fast throughout the game that permadeath is a thing. And you're introduced to a community early on, and you go out, and it tells you that you can switch characters, cool. But you go out, and say things get a little hairy out there with the current zombie situation.
Yeah.
While you're trying to find supplies to survive and, different things that you might need, like a car, building supplies, fuel.
Yeah.
You run into some issues, like very creepy, scary things running towards you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about regular zombies. They have these things. I forget what they're called. I think they call them jackals.
Oh, okay.
To where it's like this. It's this zombie on meth, darting right to you, like running full sprint animal style.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get a hold of you, they rip you in half.
Oh, excellent.
And so that was my first experience learning, oh, you don't come back.
People die.
And then you switch to another character in your community, and the dialogue is, man, Johnny hasn't come back. I hope he's okay. You just witnessed this man get ripped in half.
Yeah.
And he's done.
And nobody knows.
I don't know. I've never tried to go back in a save and try and do that. It's just not that game. Once you learn that it's like that, then it's like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely teaches you to be more careful with their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Usually in games it's not like that, but that's the whole purpose of permadeath, right?
Yeah.
But
tell me a little bit about the first game.
The first game, I mean,
just a little bit.
You started some campground, so you're kind of out of the loop, like you were camping. and so, you know something's going on, but you're not sure what, and you run into like one or two people along the way, and then they take you back to their community, which you become a part of. Uh, um, but it's a lot of running around from place to place, and there's different like a building, which they were really good about. This is it's these small towns, and each building you can walk in,
Yeah.
and each each building can become an infestation that's just putting out zombies,
Yeah.
and it's something you have to maintain
Yeah.
throughout the town,
Like
because even though it may be on the other side of town, it'll still start this like zombies will become more and more frequent of attacking your home front, which is, it's kind of intimidating to do, especially starting out. So when you're starting out, things are just going to get worse until it's really a race for supplies. It really is.
Yeah.
Because once there's infestations all over the place, it just, the whole map gets scarier and scarier.
Right.
Because it's these perpetual building of an army outside of your,
Yeah. And that's like taking resources away from you.
Yeah, because I mean, if once a part of town becomes unsafe, you can't get those supplies. I remember there was more story in the first one. Like there was more, like, I feel like lore. But essentially you're trying to, I think it's a big discussion in your community, like whether you should stay or leave. And once you finally leave, you kind of just start over in another town, but it's like the same town.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I think that's just winning the game.
Right,
you got out of the town. But the story wise, they set it up like it's like that everywhere. So you just kind of, your characters survive that town,
right,
on to the next journey. But yeah, I mean, I remember in the first one, your car is like the best weapon to have. If you don't have a car, it is so much work to kill zombies.
Yeah.
But the thing is that that's your form of transportation. So if you hit a bunch of zombies, eventually your car is going to break down.
Right. Yeah. As expected.
Yeah. So it's kind of like you have to use it wisely. If a jackal were to come along, I'd be like, let's get in the car.
Yeah,
because that's the only way I'm making it out of this.
Yeah.
Because they move like erratically. So they're hard to shoot. It's like bumping into a rabid raccoon in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It's just like, it makes more sense to run away than to, stay there and fight.
Like ammo and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're too fast.
Yeah.
They're too fast. That's like the scariest creature in the first one.
Yeah. I can imagine. That thing is terrifying, especially if it's like nighttime.
Yeah. And they have like huge zombies to where it's like they're like big fat guys, and they have like bloaters and screamers and stuff. Screamers are like, it's the zombie that screams and just brings on a whole herd of other zombies because they hear the noise.
Right.
And noise is a big factor in this game too, because like when you're getting supplies, you can choose to rush. If you rush, you take a chance of being loud, and that's just going to pull zombies in. I can't remember if you could bring someone with you or not in the first one.
I don't know in the first one. I don't think.
And the second one you can.
Yeah.
So, second one, same premise. It's basically just copying over the same game and making it like way better. Like, it's kind of like what everyone was bitching about, they fixed and they called it number 2.
Yeah.
But a lot more intricate, different maps and stuff. Which, I mean, you know me, like recruiting is my thing, and that's like,
it's all what State of Decay is.
Yeah, it's building up your community to where you can fight more people and stuff.
And your like base too.
if there was something I could change about State of Decay, it'd be like the intricacy of sending people on missions
Mhm.
without you having to be there.
Okay, so they just do it on their own.
Yeah.
Okay.
You kind of send someone on a mission and give them a danger percentage of whether they make it back or not.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can choose to send someone with them or something like that,
Yeah, increase their odds.
Yeah, that would probably be what I would upgrade because it is very like somewhat annoying to like have to be there always. Like it feels like you have a community of people, but it's all on you. And occasionally, like they bring in supplies. It's like a heads up, like, "Hey, I got a flare for you."
Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna use that.
But I mean, I just recently played it, the second one, again, and I'm having just as much fun with it as I did the first time I played.
Yeah.
Because it's a very, I don't know, you can customize the look now of your character, which is cool. You kind of create your own story as they go along.
Okay.
Instead of it being the story that I think the developers were probably like, let's just put in dialogue when something happens and they can create their own story versus us trying to put a story in it.
I think
Because you
it's
could
a lot
see
better.
in the first one, the story itself was a little lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
Like there wasn't a lot of answers. There wasn't a lot of effort put into the story.
Well,
but they were trying to.
Yeah, I mean, it was developed during the time like zombie survival boom for the game industry, where it's like everybody was coming out with that because of like Walking Dead and all that.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's only like so many ways you could tell a zombie story, because like the best way to do that when it's like a linear story, if like the developers made themselves, but if it's like an immersive story where it's like you are kind of like influencing all the decisions and you're doing all this stuff, and they put that in your hands, it's a lot better because obviously you're controlling it. So it's like everybody has their own story of how the game is evolving.
And it's really hard to direct a narrative when people can die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because someone might have known something that someone didn't, and then there goes your story.
Right. If it's linear, yeah, it's like it's either you're expecting no one to die,
or whoever you expect to die. They have control over who dies and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Then it's easy
with a story like that in State of Decay 2, where it's just like your mistakes are what's going to lead to somebody dying.
Yeah.
And it's not like I don't know, because like when it's like a linear story, you kind of like you can kind of get the sense of like who's going to make it and who's not.
Yeah.
As it goes along, but with a story where it's just like where it's immersive storytelling, you don't know because you're the one controlling it, and you have no idea like if you're going to run into like a major zombie somewhere and it's going to completely mess everything up for that character. And that could be someone that you really like. So it's like
and that sucks to like find someone who looks cool and building up all their stats and making them look even cooler and like this is my guy here.
Yeah.
And then what usually ends up happening with me is I don't play with him. I keep him safe. I make him the leader by other means than putting him in danger. But it's I feel like the loot of everything is very cool in that game. Like, I mean, you can add attachments to it. I guess something I don't like is like the mods and stuff on your home base. Like you can get these heavy ass mods and they don't really serve much of a purpose other than like plus 10 storage or whatever.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot for a little gain.
Do they not like show a visual difference or anything?
No, I don't think so. Maybe something pops up, but it's not like the full like customization of how you want. And that's another thing I would change too is like the customization of your home base, and not to where it's like so easy to where it's like I just built something magnificent out of a tiny warehouse,
right?
Yeah. But as far as like doing some changes to the cosmetics of it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that progression, that
And
sense of
maybe
progression.
just like you have your emblem or whatever for your community on, put it on the side or put whatever you want on the side.
Yeah,
Or
or you're like slowly building it up and stuff.
yeah, even if it's like dumb, like spray paint, like graffiti art.
Yeah,
Um, but I like it more if they took like kind of gave it a more serious tone. Like, and that from the trailer that they released, it looks like that's kind of what they're going for. Uh, but I think like to deal with kids in that world, that might get really dark really fast.
yeah,
But it was done in The Walking Dead, and I feel like it would add some more. What's it called when you have more to lose?
more stakes.
Yeah, to raise the stakes
Hmm.
a little bit because that's like that. That's actual survival. You have these people depending on you,
Hmm.
and sometimes it feels like okay, we just made a team.
Hmm.
We made a team of grown adults, and there's nothing really.
Yeah, like adding like a family unit or something, like
Yeah,
people that are like related to each other or like bonded in some way, instead of like just
yeah,
like kind of people you find and pick up, and it's like,
yeah.
do they really have any reason to like
Stay
stick with
together.
me?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Other than the fact that you pressed a button and you got enough influence to get them to join your
Right,
community,
yeah.
it doesn't really feel like. Um, it feels like you're creating your own story,
Yeah,
but it doesn't feel like a good in-depth story
yeah,
because there's not a lot of stakes.
yeah. It
You
feels
pick,
like a little gamey,
yeah,
which it,
arcadey,
yeah, arcadey. That's a good word for it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
yeah,
Because it's just like I'd rather like try to like say you have like a neighbor or something and they don't trust you, but um, throughout the course of the game you're like constantly like, hey, I need help with something, and then you give them stuff,
yeah,
and that slowly builds up their trust in you, and you can be like eventually, hey, do you want to join?
yeah.
Something like that.
Or I'd honestly like the bases to be bigger
Mm,
to
yeah,
where it's a bigger community.
yeah. I mean, should like just let me start taking over parts of like the town,
Yeah,
like slowly like getting like a more fences and stuff, like all this stuff
yeah.
I put in, like let me take over a town.
Dude, if they do that on this new one,
Yeah, I mean they better. I mean,
it's been a while since I checked it. It could have been a canceled game by now. I don't know.
I'm sure they're still developing it. I haven't seen any news about.
It's a small developer, I think.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think they're independent, but I
No,
think they're
they're
small.
they're owned by Xbox,
Yeah,
so they got Xbox money at least.
yeah.
But
I mean, but as far as like a game that I could just play and play and play and play,
yeah,
and I was trying to get friends to play it, and you played it with me,
hmm,
but I couldn't really get anyone involved.
I struggle a lot with zombie games, only because like they want you. I don't think there's like a sleep till morning function, right?
No, there's not.
Yeah, so and they definitely want you to keep like doing stuff at night, and I do not like that.
It's
I'm not good
rough.
with that.
Nights are rough. I wish they did have like a sleep till morning function. I
Uh,
ran into that because
yeah,
everything's just harder at night, and it's not necessarily the zombies. They're not too different. It's not really scarier for me anymore.
okay.
But it's hard to see.
Yeah,
Like,
I noticed that too. Yeah, it's really hard to see.
and I'd rather do it during the daytime.
Hmm.
That's a bit of an annoying thing.
Hmm.
Hopefully it's just the same but way but they just take everything we just said and they implement
I
it.
don't mind like a nighttime function, like maybe in the early beginnings, because you're not like your base isn't built up and you don't have like a lot of people and stuff, so you're not secured sleeping,
Hmm.
So I don't mind like having that still in the game, but I'd rather I don't know, is there like really even more reward to going out at night? Like it just
No,
seems kind of like it'd be more riskier for the same amount.
I've spent a lot of time chilling at night
Yeah,
trying to find other things to do that are dumb,
right,
and not try and risk it because you're risking your person
right.
every time you go out. So I think that's a bad like developer strategy.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
feel like either give us the sleep till morning, but at that point, like don't even include nighttime. Just
because
like I'd go to bed.
another thing is that like all of your people can be hurt,
Oh, yeah.
and you're going like they make you play as somebody when they all could be resting and healing.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. So they either need to make it like at night you, I don't know, get more loot or something. There's got to be like something at night to make you want to go out.
yeah,
Um, or yeah, just let me sleep until morning because like there's just no point in risking everything for that.
you know what
For
would be
nothing.
cool? They did the online is kind of like strange because you pick your guy,
Hmm.
and then your guy goes over to another town, and you're like a part of their community, but kind of not.
Okay.
I think it'd be a better idea if they, like you said, where they expand their community and they take back buildings to where they put fences around it and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Which, by the way, great idea. That might
Hmm.
have to be one of my concepts because I
Yeah.
think it is one of them.
Write that down.
Um, I think it would be cool if you were going to do an online, but you didn't join my community, you started your own, and it was kind of this saved world
Mm.
to where you kind of start on your own type of map, and you can choose to be allies with us or against us or whatever.
Hmm.
And I mean, it'd make more sense if we were friends for you to be
Yeah.
allies,
Yeah.
but to join that world and start building out your own community and to hit it from both sides, I think it would be very like
It'd be cool for
dopamine
like
hit.
a
Like,
co-op game. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the map will be gigantic in the
yeah,
next one. So
yeah. I mean, it already is gigantic. And if you count like the obstacles you have to drive around while you're driving, it takes a long time to travel.
mhm.
Which then you have the whole gas and the whole
Yeah. Right.
maintenance on your car aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Think they have like a super strong base for
A great game.
a great game. Yeah.
Yeah,
The next one can be just like they can hit it out of the park.
phenomenal.
Hmm.
Or they can completely ruin it. Sometimes
Of
that
course,
happens.
they could get shut down. Xbox could shut them down. We'll
Yeah.
never see it again.
Have they been shutting people down?
Yeah.
I think you
It was a,
told me that. What's up with
it
that?
was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
The guys behind, I don't know if you saw it, Redfall,
Yeah.
Arcane Austin, they shut them down.
Why are they shutting people down?
Well, Redfall, at least, the explanation is that it wasn't a good game on launch, and it was supposed to be like a live service, four-person co-op shooter, but it
Hmm.
didn't perform well. So that's an argument for why they got shut down. Tango GameWorks was another one. They made Hi-Fi Rush recently. They also made Ghostwire Tokyo, and they made shoot. It's like a series adjacent to Resident Evil, kind of. It's a horror
Okay.
game. But they shut them down, and Hi-Fi Rush was like one of their best-selling like first-party games. So I don't know. There's not really
It's
an
a
explanation.
conspiracy.
Yeah, there's something going on. But I mean, if they can be working on State of Decay 3 for this long and still have their position, like I think they'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's look it up. I yeah, it's on you.
You want me to look it up?
Look it up and see if it's in development.
I mean, yeah. Didn't they announced it, right?
They released a trailer for it a long time ago. I
Oh.
think we're on like year 5 at least.
Let's see. State
It
of
was
Decay.
cool as shit too because like he's trying to hunt a deer, but he finds like a ripped open predator cat,
Oh, okay.
and it's the deer eating the cat because it's turned into a zombie.
Mhm.
So sick.
That's disgusting. I don't want to be. I don't want to be messing with that at all.
You wouldn't want to mess with a zombie deer? I'd eat that deer.
No, hell no.
Infected deer.
Let's see. All
I'd
right,
get
two,
superpowers.
2 months ago. 2027 or later.
2 months ago, 2027 or later.
That's not an official like press release or anything.
What is it
It's
like
just
an insider thing?
It's just people talking about it.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're thinking. It seems like it's going to take a while, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's okay. That I always say for like movie productions or game developers, if it takes a long time, okay.
Yeah.
Just give me a good game. Give me something good for my wait.
Well, yeah, people were upset because it's like, why show like a gameplay trailer if it's not releasing for another 7 years or something? Whenever they release that trailer, I don't know.
I think it's just to let people know that it's getting worked on.
I'm better with that if it's more like, by the way, we're working on State of Decay 3, and we'll share more news when it's ready. I'd rather they do that and then like release a gameplay trailer like 6 months before it releases.
Well, I mean,
I like that more than like
I do too. I do too.
I do not like a long wait.
You shouldn't. I think it's a bad idea to create hype before you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And if like you love the trailer,
Yeah.
but it's not, it's gonna be a long time before we actually get the game. It's kind of like, I don't know. You allow people's emotions to kind of like settle way before
So
like,
they're not excited about
yeah, which you can
it
still be
anymore.
excited, but like the amount of like hype that you can get when it's like there's only 6 months to the release date,
Yeah.
you're like clearing people's calendars at that point, you know, because
Yeah.
they're like, I want to play this day one, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But then when they're like, 7 years, you know, I've already waited this long.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll just keep waiting. I'll get it
just get it on
after I
sale.
get the new thing that just came out. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and that's a big problem in the industry right now in general. It's we're announcing things like when they're like
But
5-10 years
there's a
old.
developer aspect. If they can release a badass trailer and get hype about it early on, they might be able to get more funding.
No, I know. I understand that a lot of it is driven by like shareholders and stuff,
Yeah.
and like the big publishers have to like release something to, I don't know, like, you know, say like we were up this much percent this
Mhm.
month because of this, because they released a trailer about an upcoming game. But it's like, I mean, I get it as a consumer, but I don't like it. I don't like that it's driven like that.
Yeah.
And especially like with Hi-Fi Rush, I mean, that game just like they shadow dropped it the day it was announced. Like nobody even knew it was in development. It just like they announced it in a developer showcase and then it released the same day. And that's the kind of stuff that I like. I like just release it. Don't even tell me you're working on anything. Just release it, and I'll be down. I mean, it's kind of like I mean, Assassin's Creed does it all the time. Like
Yeah.
we know that they're in the works. Like we had Codename Red or whatever it was
Mhm.
since I think it was like 2 years ago that they officially announced that they were working on something, but they didn't have any like gameplay or anything, any announcement. And then this year, like last month,
Mhm.
they released like the official cinematic trailer and all the game details and everything, and it's releasing this year.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that I like.
Yeah. That's a better strategy for
Yeah.
marketing your game, I think.
Mhm.
But back to State of Decay, man. I think it's just it is gonna it if y'all want to try it out, it's gonna feel arcadey, but it's
Yeah.
so fun.
It is worth it, yeah.
I've probably ripped into it a few times on this podcast, but
That's out of love.
it is. It's when you see a game that you really like, it's like just tweak this one thing,
This
you
one
know,
thing, yeah.
this one thing, and then it would be a Perfect game.
Yeah.
I'd give it like an 8 as far as gaming.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause
that
there's
seems
just so
fair.
much interactivity and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
It's
It really is.
great. Like compared to like a lot of the other zombie survival games, like I think State of Decay is like top of its class.
Yeah,
Just because of
100%.
all the mechanics it has.
If there's a zombie game I want to play, it's State of Decay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, just take your ass on down the line. That was an episode of Top Tier Play. Thank you for watching.
And be sure to check out the rest of our content on Typhoon. We've got a bunch more coming for you. Stay tuned.
Nice.